Twitter. We're live now on all the platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as usual every day on the CovInspiraton show. I have on the show today the chairperson of the Lagos State Civil Service Commission, the former Director General of the Lagos State Public Sector Staff Development Center, Magodo, Mrs. Olubunmi Fabanwo. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a privilege to be with you today.
Thank you so much, man. We have viewers from different parts on all the various platforms. I wanted to first start. How are you enjoying the stay at home in Corona? How are you coping?
Well, we in everything we must always thank God. We thank God for all those who are involved in the COVID-19 challenge, all the health workers, all workers, all the doctors, the nurses, the lab technicians, the lab technologists, the attendants, all of them. I think we just have to say thank you very much for doing a great job. It's been a time for a lot of stock taking. It's been a time for introspection. It's been a time to review things. It's been a time to look at what you can do differently. And I think in spite of the challenge, it's also been a positive time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Today is Workers' Day. How are you celebrating Workers' Day today?
Well,
in this unusual environment.
It just gave me time to think about myself as a worker for over 3.5 decades, and retiring and thanking God still. A time to reflect on where we are as a nation in terms of the workforce, where we are, where we should be, where we should have been, and where we can't still be. So for me, it's been a lot of introspection.
That's fantastic. The governor this morning was in Marina celebrating today's Workers' Day on low key. I know that normal things would have had a parade and the workers would have enjoyed themselves, but I'm sure that they know that you have the best in at heart for them. Before we go into other deeper conversations about legal state and public sector policies and all of that, what was your journey like into the public sector? Where did you start from? And what ministries have you gone through and all of that?
That's a very interesting question. I always say I'm a hybrid of the public service. I'm a hybrid of the public and private sector.
True that.
I started my life as a public servant in 1980 as an administrative officer, but left about a year and a half later for personal reasons and family reasons to join my husband. Because he's a medical doctor and he was in the college hospital in Ibadan. But I came back about 7 years later. And I spent a bit of time at the local government level.
Wow.
So I had the opportunity level also for a challenge, and that took me to the private sector. That was about 1989, 1990. And stayed there for like 2.5 decades. Though I'm a science graduate, but I've always loved people management. And so I did a master's in business administration in the 80s, in 84, 86 at the University of Ibadan, majored in human resource management at that time. And then I went full blown back into HR management. I transversed the private sector, manufacturing, finance, consulting, telecoms, operator business in the telecom industry. And, that gave me, and the banking industry also, where I headed the HR function. And after a while, when I turned a particular milestone, I decided that I needed a position of higher stewardship and accountability. And so a position opened up in Lagos State under competition in 2008, late 2008, and that was the position of the Director General of the Public Service Staff
PSSD.
Development Center, Magodo, which is the capacity building institution of Lagos State. And we applied, and we were lucky. Well, we were chosen as the Director General, and that was a position we held for about 8 years, for 2 terms, 4 years, and another 4 years.
Wow.
It was a very interesting and challenging position, but indeed it was a great privilege to serve the state in that capacity, I must say. It has been a leveraging point for a lot of the things I've done after that. It was wonderful having the opportunity to turn around a government parastatal, working with a great team at that time also, for us to become a pace setter parastatal
agency
in terms of the performance. So here we are again, another opportunity came up for us to chair the Civil Service Commission. And what else can we say but all gratitude to God?
So 2 things. I have so much questions for you, and I'm conscious of time. And okay, so I'm going to throw a lot of questions at you, Ma. You know, the first question is, when you enter the public service to the public service of today, what kind of differences can you say? Is this the same public service that you entered into? And what differences are different in the sector today? And would you encourage I know back in the days when you get into public service job, I hear that the story to hear that when you graduate, you get the job waiting for you. Immediately you get a car, you get this, you get that. Is it as attractive as it was before, or as effective as it was before? And would you put your students, for example, in the sector as well today?
Well, I'll start from the back, the last question. I have some of my children in public service, and I'm proud of that. I believe it's one place that you can make a lot of impact if you really want to. So my children, my daughter is a medical doctor. She's a public health physician and works in Lagos State. And I have a son also who is a tax consultant too. So certainly it's a place to make a difference, and a great difference too, because you affect more people in the public service, especially by your good actions. So is the service still the same as it was before? Well, you know that change is the most permanent thing in life. The people are not the same. A lot of dynamism. The service at that time, we would say it was a service that people entered into and really wanted to do their very best. They wanted to make a career in service, and they took time to learn. They took time to grow on the job. They took time to hone their skills in their various professions. And I think maybe because of the new age we have now, there's a lot of impatience. So people tend to want to move very fast without honing skills sufficiently. I think that's a major difference. Then you took time to hone your skills. You realize that you were learning and preparing yourself for higher responsibilities. And of course, the service was much smaller than now. I mean, population at that time, we're talking about a population of over 20-something million now in Lagos State alone. I mean, that's like 3, 4, 5 countries altogether. We're talking about the second largest public service in the nation.
Yes.
So the dynamics have changed, the people have changed, and so also has the service changed.
And talking about change, what change are you bringing to the Civil Service Commission now that you have the helm?
Thank you very much for the question. The Civil Service Commission, I will start from its vision. What does the Civil Service Commission of Lagos State want to be? Because those are fundamental things that, the vision of the Civil Service of Lagos State, we want to be a world-class human resource organization that is dynamic, that is efficient, and that is effective. That is the overarching vision of the Civil Service Commission of Lagos State. And also, we are clear in our mission. That is, what is our reserve debt? Why are we here? Why do we come on a daily basis to the commission? We say to ourselves that why we are in Civil Service Commission is to provide a motivated, qualified, competent workforce that is disciplined, productive, and all of this we base it on equity, justice, and fairness. So, why am I here? To ensure that we achieve our vision and we do our mission. So every day I'm awake, I'm alive to make sure that this happens during my tenure. That one, we become a world-class human resource organization. We benchmark ourselves with other commissions in Africa and in the world, Asia, Europe. We would like to compare favorably with them. And also, we want to ensure that the staff we have in Lagos State are motivated, they are qualified, competent, because you know that you need the staff to provide the public goods that government promises to citizens. So, if at the end
Thank you so much. I'm with you, ma.
Okay, so if at the end of our tenure, we would have gone several miles in this journey, we would believe that we have done our bit. So we are focused on the vision, we are focused on the mission statement, and we want to be able to do all of this with a lot of professionalism, with high integrity also, and working together as a good team all the time. And of course, collaborating with all the other HR agencies of government.
That's a fantastic one, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Now, let's go down to the grassroots. An average citizen of Nigeria, it's the public sector system. They feel that they get into a ministry in Nigeria. This is not about Lagos, but largely Nigeria. Lagos is ahead of the game a lot. But they believe that they get into a particular local government level and people are sleeping, people are eating, they are carrying plates around, they are greeting themselves in the passage, and all of that. How has Lagos tried to be ahead of the mark, and how is Lagos improving to become more effective at all levels of public service?
Thank you very much. It is easy to have a misconception, and it's also easy also to make a conclusion from a very small perspective. Sometimes they say if you look at an elephant, it depends on where you're touching, and that will help you. That makes you form an opinion. Yes, in service, you may find one or two of what you've spoken about, but in Lagos State, we ensure that the right kind of book enter our service. We ensure that they are onboarded at the ministerial level and also at the top level. We do our best to ensure that they know why they are here. A lot of orientation and reorientation goes on. And as people are leaving and coming back into the system, we ensure that we keep on emphasizing to them the reason why they are in service. Also, Lagos continuously reforms. We are continuously reinventing ourselves in Lagos. So you find that from one reform to another, we are always evolving. There's hardly any time we're not looking at reforms in the health sector, education sector, public service reforms. So consistently, we're looking at ways to get better, to improve. And that is what has helped Lagos. We keep our eye on the ball, and we're constantly reinventing ourselves.
Thank you, ma. Um, Now let's talk about what today is Workers' Day, and a lot of workers are home. It's coronavirus period, but it's even a rest time for a lot of workers. How can people incorporate, in particular workers, how can they incorporate more rest into their life all year long? This is probably the longest some people have had a real compulsory rest in public service across the country. But how can workers incorporate more rest into their life? Professionally,
More
you know,
rest.
you're also a life coach. You're also a life coach. So, as a coach, not as a chairman of the commission now, how can our workers incorporate? Because if you look at it, a lot of public sector workers have one underlying ailment or the other. High blood pressure, across the world, or in Africa in particular. How can public sector officials incorporate more rest into their life all year long?
First of all, we don't have statistics to support what you said about our public servants having a lot of hypertension and all that. There are no real statistics to support that. However, a worker,
No,
as you well
this is
know,
not peculiar to
is somebody
Lagos.
who,
This is not to Lagos, man. This is not
yes,
about
no,
Lagos.
no,
I'm,
I
I'm
know,
talking
I
generally.
know, I know. I know,
Yes.
even generally, there is no statistic to support it. I'm not sure people have done studies that have been validated that say that public servants generally have a higher potential for hypertension and all. They
Yes,
may,
sir.
I mean, you may have some people who are hypertensive naturally and all of that, but there is no real evidence. It's not evidence based. It also could be a perception. But having said that, the onus is on you first of all as a person to take care of yourself, to have a good lifestyle, to
Mm,
ensure that you have the skills to do your work, to ensure that you're not under undue pressure at any point in time,
mm,
to ensure that you understand your work and you're able to meet up with your deliverables. All of that will help you to maintain a good health, because if you do not do your work as and when you're supposed to do it, you put yourself
mm,
under undue pressure also. So we in Lagos, we endeavor to ensure that people know what they are meant to do. We ensure that the continuous leadership training on how to manage people, how to manage your team, how to appreciate your team, how to recognize your team. So if you follow those things you learn as a leader, as a manager, and also as an officer, certainly you will do a lot better. But you also realize that, as I said, it's a joint responsibility, and that takes us to the issue of well-being. Well-being is a joint responsibility, the responsibility of the
mm,
individual and also a supportive responsibility by the organization. So Lagos endeavors to ensure that people have their leave as and when due. You take your leave at the appropriate
mm.
time. Lagos endeavors that you have a good,
Fantastic.
for example, in Lagos, you have a very good staff clinic. I'm not sure there's any of its type all over anywhere in Nigeria where people are
That
attended
has,
to.
yes,
There are guidance and counseling units for people who may
yes.
have some other issues apart from physical issues. So there is a support system that's in Lagos State
Mm,
that helps our staff. It's not easy. Life is not easy, but you have to know how to cope.
yeah,
So you must develop deep coping
yeah.
skills so that you're able to live a
Mm.
lifestyle that will not endanger your health.
So, what are some of those deep coping skills? Can you share some of them with us, please?
Some of what? Do come
Deep coping
again.
skills.
Coping skills.
Deep coping
Ah,
skills. Yes.
okay. Some of those coping skills. I think you have to have a positive attitude to life. That is very
Fantastic.
important.
Positive attitude to life.
Yes, positive attitude to life.
Mm,
You have to understand yourself. Who am I? You have to have a high sense of
understand
self-awareness.
yourself.
Yeah, understand yourself.
Yourself.
When you understand
High
yourself,
sense
you know
of
your strengths.
self-awareness.
Yes, your strengths are clear to
Mm,
you. The areas you need to work upon are
mm,
clear to you. your disposition towards threats, how you begin to turn your threats into some opportunities. What are those things you need to do? What are the skills you need to have? So it's about positive attitude, know yourself, also have an understanding, be emotionally intelligent also, know how to cope know how to cope with other people. And so those are some of the coping skills that I think are going to be very, very important as we move along. A positive attitude, ability to adjust to situations is going to be very important.
Ability to adjust to situations.
To be resilient, to be agile, to adapt easily also. Those are some of the resilience, because life will always happen. And so it's the agile that will help you.
Adaptation. Okay, this is a lot. This is what I'm looking for. The content that people at home can take back and apply into their daily life. Let me also ask you, Ma, how can a public sector worker maintain a good balance between life and work, in particular bearing in mind legal traffic and hustle and bustle of the society that we live in? How can public sector worker achieve a work-life balance? I need some fact also that people can apply at home, like some of the things you do that work.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's important we prioritize what is important to you as a person. Do not put yourself under undue pressure. Develop the ability and the capability to do your work. That is so important. If you're able to meet your deliverables, do your work well, be punctual at your work, deliver on time, deliver deliver on time and deliver well, then you remove a lot of pressure from yourself. And of course, our weekends. What do we do with our weekends?
What do you do with your weekends?
Are they more rigorous than our weekdays? Some people, their weekends are more rigorous than their weekdays. So they enter a new week already feeling tired and worn out. So we have to prioritize what is important to you as a person. What is important to you? Your family, your work, your family, your spiritual life. You try to have a balanced balanced segment in your wheel of life. And also your finances.
Finance, that's a key one.
Yes, finances. Do you want to be like the Joneses all the time? Cut your coat according to your cloth. Be content with what you have, even as you aspire for higher things. So all of that are very important in ensuring that you have you're able to maintain a good work-life balance.
Thank you so much. This is so much to take in. And I was going to ask, have you written a book? Do you have a book? Because something like this would be nice to have in a book that people can read in their pleasure to develop themselves. Uncle Shola, do I see you? Do you have a book, man?
That's a question I'm asked almost on a daily basis. I would love to, now that I'm asked all the time. Maybe I'll partner with some of you. Maybe somebody like you also. We can partner and write a book.
Absolutely, man. This is
leverage on each other's experience.
Absolutely, man. My next question, I know that time is fast spent, is are there any employee assistance program or corporate wellness program set in place right now for civil servants, or is there one that you would like to bring? Or we're expecting you to introduce something into Lagos State, a corporate wellness program or an employee assistance program?
We have a lot of programs. Even our policies are quite employee friendly. Lagos State was the first state that would approve maternity leave of 6 months for first-time and second-time mothers.
What about fathers?
Fathers also had a paternity leave too for the first and second birth, and that was only 2 weeks to support the mom. So consistently, we're always reviewing our policies so that they are friendly and there are policies that will continue to motivate our team. Also, we are always looking at ways to motivate in terms of recognition too. We have innovation and creativity awards. We have innovation and creativity awards for our staff. So when you develop something new, or when you develop something that you do it in a thing in a new way, we have awards, we have commendations and all, so that people are motivated to go the extra mile and to use discretionary behavior in whatever they do. And Lagos State is one of the first states also to have moved our contribution in terms of pension from 7.5, from 10% to 13%, so that you're able to save a lot more, and also you're able to benefit a lot more. In Lagos State, we also endeavor to ensure that our pensioners get their money as quickly as possible. It's a lot, but there is a commitment on government side to consistently do this. It's not easy also, but our government consistently endeavors to ensure that this is done. There are facilities also. We have housing. They may not be enough for everybody, but at least there's a scheme that supports housing. There are also various little loans for people to benefit from. So by and large, government responds to the employees' needs as and when due.
That makes that's a lot that government is doing to contribute to the well-being and support of the public sector employee. If there was any legacy that you want to leave behind in your tenure as chairperson of the commission, what would it be, Madam Chairperson?
Well, thank you very much for the question. Importantly, we would like to restate it as our mission said. We would like to enhance our recruitment process such that only qualified, competent people are recruited into Lagos State, because these are the people you need so that government can deliver on its promise. We would like to have an improvement on the performance management, working with other agencies, and the promotion exercises. Would like them to be extremely merit-driven, so that we ensure that that is motivation in itself. Because when staff know that there is a high level of meritocracy in the system, it motivates them and to want to do really well. And we are sure that when people get to higher responsibilities, they can own their own on those positions. So we look forward to a recruitment process that is merit-driven, so that we can have motivated, qualified, competent staff that have the capacity and the capability to be the real engine of government.
Thank you so much, Ma. On a final note, the level 12 officials and below at home due to coronavirus. There's some level 13 and above who are also going to have to shuttle between home and work, and shuttle between home and work. What is your word of encouragement for this season?
Well, I would like to say to them that we are in this together. We are in this together. Nobody has gone this route before, but we'd like to assure them that they have a government that will empathize, a government that will work with them to continuously find solutions to the times we're in. Our government will show a lot of empathy, understanding, and so we expect that our team also will reciprocate government's empathy and understanding at a time like this, so that together we can walk through all of this and survive it.
Absolutely. And sorry, I know I said that was a final note, but I just got a question from someone. As the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission, do we expect recruitment into the public service this year if Corona goes away on time, or sometime next year, please?
We would have to confirm that. We cannot say for sure now. We're consistently always looking at our money levels. We're consistently always looking at the gaps that we have, and what we try to do is to fill the gaps. So we will not be able to say authoritatively at this point. We're consistently doing our workforce planning.
Mrs. Olubunmi Fabanwo, thank you so much. I call you mommy. I'm sure that the people who are watching will not mind. Thank you so much, mommy, for your time, for your leadership, from both the public sector staff development center to the civil service commission. And we cannot but wish you the best. We know that you have the best heart for the people. I wish you had enough time, because I actually wanted to speak to you about some of your personal experience on the job, some of your challenges in the civil service, because we have a lot of people who are working who are actually people from my own agencies to them. And the lessons that they can learn from someone like you who walked this journey before, who have been there ahead, how to survive even in the multi environment of quality. I hope that when we call on you again, you'll be happy to and share this time around, not from the level of policies, but from the level of personal experiences that public sector officials can learn from and take over. We're so grateful for your time now. I really wish I could ask a lot more questions of the Commissioner for Establishment and Training of the Regional is already standing by to
Any final words, man, to all of us?
Just to say thank you very much for all those who also came in to the program, and to wish all of us well. We will survive this. We have what it takes as Nigerians. We will certainly survive it. Thank you very much. God bless us.
Thank you so much. The video is going to be available on all our WhatsApp page. For anybody to watch, you'll be left there for you to send the link to your families, your loved ones. I'll be working in GP with the Lagos Commissioner for Establishment, Training, and Pension, and the former CEO of the Chartered Institute of Person Management. For now, please help me say big love you. Help me blow out this. Go and follow us on your Instagram. See our page from this link. So go and follow us, and let's increase our followership number. Thank you, and God bless you. Hoping to see you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.